My name is Putri Angelika, and now I'm gonna present a presentation about Kartini and me. R.A. Kartini, born in 1879 in Jepara, Central Java, Kartini was a Japanese noblewoman who dedicated her life to advocating for women's rights and education. She is considered a pioneer in the women's rights movement in Indonesia and is remembered as a symbol of progress and emancipation. Indonesia people commemorate Kartini Day every April 21, which also coincides with Kartini's birthday. Kartini Day began to be held when it was established during the reign of Indonesian first President Sukarno, and often commemorate it by wearing kebaya. And when I was a kid, like in kindergarten or elementary school, Kartini Day was celebrated with wearing kebaya, cultural parades, and competitions held in the context of Kartini Day, such as writing poetry, stories, or speeches. And before reading Kartini's letter, I had a limited understanding of her as a person and her contribution to the Indonesian women's movement. My perception of her was primarily based on her status as a Japanese princess and her effort to promote education and gender equality. At the first I heard about Kartini's letters, I thought it was about how Kartini write lyrical and sentimental passages or ethnographic insights into Japanese society and culture. And eventually, after reading some of her letters, I know that Kartini's letters basically are a collection of correspondence that provide insights into her life, thoughts, and advocacy for women's rights and education in Indonesia at that time. The letter also show her ability to write eloquently and articulate her ideas, reflecting her strong personality and her commitment to creating positive change in her society and her willingness to challenge societal norms and traditions, particularly in relation to women's rights and education. The example shows in letter 15, in which she expresses her frustration with the lack of education and opportunities of women in Java. In the letter, Kartini writes, as I see more and more clearly that the very earliest education has an influence which extends over a whole lifetime. But how can the native women teach their children when they themselves are so ignorant? Through this letter, Kartini is trying to convey the importance of education for women and how it can have a positive impact on society as a whole. She is also highlighting the challenges faced by women in her society who are denied access to education and opportunities for personal growth. Kartini the movie, published in 2017, the movie depicts Kartini as a powerful and intelligent woman who challenges tradition and fights for the rights of women, reflecting her struggle against tradition and her family who advocates for gender equality and women's rights. The movie focuses on Kartini's struggles as a social hero fighting against gender injustice in the areas of her education, teaching, learning, writing, and marriage. Kartini's representation in the movie also aligns with the energetic, powerful, and enthusiastic persona revealed in her letters and showcasing her as a powerful and intelligent woman who was not afraid to fight for her belief and make a difference in the world around her. My most concerning gender issue, especially in Indonesia nowadays in 2023, is the prevalence of gender-based violence, such as sexual harassment towards women. This issue reflects the persistent inequality and lack of respect for women's rights and dignity in the country. It can be seen um, from the comparison of number of cases experienced between men and women. There's a fairly high gap where the number of cases of violence experienced by women reaches more than 20,000, while for men it's only in 5,000. Then, in terms of the percentage distribution of violence in Indonesia, it mostly occurs in the Java and includes physical, physiological, and sexual violence. In light of the sexual harassment issues in Indonesia, I think Kartini Day can be celebrated by making it as an opportunity to discuss the issue and their impact on women's rights in Indonesia. Also share her story and the struggle as she faced to inspire women to continue fighting for equality and justice. And then also promoting education, emphasizing the importance of education for women because education is a key factor in empowering women and helping them develop their potential. I think the roles that I can play in raising public awareness towards that issues, such as learning about the issue so we know how to recognize it and how to respond to it, speaking out, supporting the survivors, and promoting prevention.